Sir Sultan Muhammad Shah, the Aga Khan III, was born in Karachi on Friday, the 2nd November 1877. When the news of his birth was routed to Imam Husain Ali Shah in Bombay, he said, "Name him Muhammad Sultan. He will be a sultan, an emperor, of the world. His period will witness wonderful events, and will earn distinguished position in the world." Under the care of his mother, Nawab-e Shams al-Muluk, who was a granddaughter of Fath Ali Shah of Persia, he was given religious and oriental education, which strengthened his position as the religious leader of the Ismailis, and made him indispensable. He also attended Eton and the University of Cambridge. Under the leadership of Sir Sultan Muhammad Shah, Aga Khan III, the first half of the 20th century was a period of significant development for the Ismaili community. Numerous institutions for social and economic development were established in the Indian subcontinent and in East Africa. Ismailis have marked the jubilees of their imams with public celebrations, which are symbolic affirmations of the ties that link the Ismailis imam and his followers. Although the jubilees have no religious significance, they serve to reaffirm the imamat worldwide commitment to the improvement of the quality of human life, especially in the developing countries. The jubilees of Sir Sultan Muhammad Shah, Aga Khan III, are well remembered. During his 72 years of imamat from 1885 up to 1957, the community celebrated his Golden Jubilee in 1937, Diamond Jubilee in 1946 and Platinum Jubilee in 1954. To show their appreciation and affection, the Ismailis weighed their imam in gold, diamonds and, symbolically, in platinum, respectively, the proceeds of which were used to further develop major social welfare and development institutions in Asia and Africa. In India and later in Pakistan, social development institutions were established, in the words of Aga Khan III, for the relief of humanity. They included institutions such as the Diamond Jubilee Trust and the Platinum Jubilee Investments Limited, which in turn assisted the growth of various types of cooperative societies. Diamond Jubilee High School for girls were established throughout the remote northern areas of which is now Pakistan. In addition, scholarship programs, established at the time of the Golden Jubilee to give assistance to needy students, were progressively expanded. In East Africa, major social welfare and economic development institutions were established. Those involved in social welfare included the accelerated development of schools and community centers, and a modern, fully equipped hospital in Nairobi. Among the economic development institutions established in East Africa, there were companies such as the Diamond Jubilee Investment Trust, which is now Diamond Trust of Kenya, and the Jubilee Insurance Company, which are quoted on the Nairobi Stock Exchange and have become major players in national development. Sir Sultan Muhammad Shah also introduced organizational forms that gave Ismaili communities the means to structure and regulate their own affairs. These were built on the Muslim tradition of a communitarian ethic on the one hand, and responsible individual conscience with freedom to negotiate one's own moral commitment and destiny on the other. In 1905 he ordained the first Ismaili constitution for the social governance of the community in East Africa. The new administration for the community's affairs was organized into a hierarchy of councils at the local, national, and regional levels. The constitution also set out rules in such matters as marriage, divorce and inheritance, guidelines for mutual cooperation and support among Ismailis, and their interface with other communities. Similar constitutions were promulgated in India, and all were periodically revised to address emerging needs and circumstances in diverse settings. Following the Second World War, far-reaching social, economic and political changes profoundly affected a number of areas where Ismailis resided. In 1947, British rule in the Indian subcontinent was replaced by the sovereign, independent nations of India, Pakistan and later Bangladesh, resulting in the migration of millions of people and significant loss of life and property. In the Middle East, The Suez Crisis of 1956 as well as the preceding crisis in Iran, demonstrated the sharp upsurge of nationalism, which was as assertive of the region's social and economic aspirations as of its political independence. Africa was also set on its course to decolonization, swept by what Harold Macmillan, the then British Prime Minister, termed the wind of change. By the early 1960s, most of East and Central Africa, where the majority of the Ismailis' population on the continent resided, including Tanganyika, Kenya, Uganda, Madagascar, Rwanda, Burundi, and Zaire, had attained their political independence. He was recognized for his public services from the German Emperor. He was member of Indian Legislative Council from 1902 to 1904. In 1904, he became the president of All Indian Muslim League. He suggested a separate electorate for Muslim in a meeting with Viceroy Lord Ripon. From 1906 to 1912 he became the president of Muslim League. He tried to create fair relations between Hindus and Muslims. In 1911 he raised 3 million rupees for the Aligarh Muslim University. In 1921 he was appointed as a Vice-Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University. From 1928 until 1929 he was President of All Parties of Muslim Conference. From 1930 until 1933 he was Chairman of the British Indian delegation to the Round Table Conference. In 1934 he was a member of the Privacy Council. He was the first Asian who was elected as the President of League Nation in 1937. Queen Victoria made him a Knight of the Indian Empire. During his Imamate he did significant development for the Ismaili community. He helped greatly in economic and social development in South Asia and in East Africa. The Aga Khan called for social reform of Muslim society, and he was able to implement them within his own Ismaili community. As he believed Islam to essentially be a humanitarian religion, the Aga Khan called for the reduction and eradication of poverty. Like Sir Syed, the Aga Khan was concerned that Muslims had fallen behind the Hindu community in terms of education. According to him, education was the path to progress. He was a tireless advocate simply in the context of women being better mothers or wives, but rather, for women's own benefit. He endorsed the spiritual equality of men and women in Islam, and he also called for full political equality. This included the right to vote and the right to an education. In regards to the latter issue, he endorsed compulsory primary education for girls. He also encouraged women to pursue higher university-level education, and saw nothing wrong with co-educational institutions. For compulsory and universal primary education, and also for the creation of higher institutions of learning. In terms of women's rights, the Aga Khan was more progressive in his views than Sir Syed and many other Islamic modernists of his time. He was an owner of thoroughbred racing horses, including a record equaling 5 winners of the Derby Blenheim, Burn, Mahmood, My Love, Tulier and a total of 16 winners of British classic races. He was British flat racing champion owner 13 times. According to Ben Pimlott, biographer of Queen Elizabeth II, the Aga Khan presented Her Majesty with a filly called Astrakhan, who won at Hurst Park Racecourse in 1950. In 1926, the Aga Khan gave a cup, the Aga Khan Trophy, to be awarded to the winners of an international team show jumping competition held at the annual horse show of the Royal Dublin Society in Dublin. He wrote a number of books and papers, 2 of which are of immense importance, namely India in Transition, about the pre-partition politics of India, and the memoirs of Aga Khan, World Enough and Time, his autobiography. Aga Khan III was succeeded as Aga Khan by his grandson Karim Aga Khan, who is the present Imam of the Ismaili Muslims. At the time of his death on July 11, 1957, his family members were in Versailles. A solicitor brought the will of the Aga Khan III from London to Geneva and read it before the family. Ever since the time of my ancestor Ali, The first Imam, that is to say over a period of 1300 years, it has always been the tradition of our family that each Imam chooses his successor at his absolute and unfettered discretion from amongst any of his descendants, whether they be sons or remote male issue, and in these circumstances and in view of the fundamentally altered conditions in the world in very recent years due to the great changes which have taken place, including the discoveries of atomic science, I am convinced that it is in the best interest of the Shia Muslim Ismailiya community that I should be succeeded by a young man who has been brought up and developed during recent years and in the midst of the new age, and who brings a new outlook on life to his office as Imam. For these reasons, I appoint my grandson Kareem, the son of my own son, Ali Salman Khan, to succeed to the title of Aga Khan and to the Imam of all Shia Ismailian followers. He is buried at the mausoleum of Aga Khan, on the Nile in Aswan, Egypt. Pakistan Post issued a special birth centenary of Aga Khan III postage stamp in his honor in 1977. Pakistan Post again issued a postage stamp in his honor in its Pioneers of Freedom series in 1990. January 1, 1934 appointed a member of His Majesty's Most Honourable Privacy Council by King George V. May 21, 1898 Knight Commander of the Order of the Indian Empire. June 26, 1902 Knight Grand Commander of the Order of the Indian Empire. December 12, 1911 Knight Grand Commander of the Order of the Star of India. May 30, 1923 Knight Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order. January 1, 1955 Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St. Michael and St. George. 1901 First Class of the Royal Prussian Order of the Crown, in recognition of the valuable services rendered by His Highness to the Imperial German government in the settlement of various matters with the Mohammedan population of German East Africa. Sir Sultan Muhammad Shah Aga Khan III was undoubtedly one of the most prominent figureheads in the international community. Apart from being the 48th Imam of the Ismaili community, he was known for his monumental contributions towards the independence of Pakistan from the British. In his simultaneous roles as the leader of a Muslim sect as well as the voice of Muslims in the subcontinent in their struggle towards achieving their dream of Pakistan, Sir Aga Khan III left his mark on history with his achievements on both fronts. In terms of achieving the goal of independence for the Muslims, he focused his energies towards two specific goals: political struggle and educational uplift. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to stay updated.